Margaret Kuhlman of Soul Astrology. Following the eclipses of the last new moon and full moon, this new moon is making no aspects to any of the planets at all, just sitting at the end of Aries, a very potent place energetically. So it seems to me there may be a feeling of a lot of energy and a lot going on, but not necessarily being clear about the direction. Mercury and Mars in Taurus, so our focus mentally and energetically is on getting practical things sorted. Not so much sorted in the Virgo way of organised, but sorted in a sense of resting accurately with how things actually are. So making those adjustments on a physical, practical level which tune us more reliably to what works. It's possible that with those eclipses, such big changes happened that this is what we are now adjusting to. And Mercury making this lovely sextile to Neptune shows that we are well tuned, that what we are mentally focused on, what we are trying to come to grips with, is actually the feeling of the time. And Mars connecting to Pluto in the next few days, Mercury following up quickly behind, that these last adjustments may be more important than they seem. When it comes to actually relating to people, looking at the Venus in Gemini, the talking we actually do, the debates and discussions we get into, at right angles to Neptune, we may find it difficult to really say what we mean, as though the ideas run away with us. It's really good to be positive. And with Venus sextiling Jupiter, who is now going direct again, Jupiter in Leo, warm, expansive, positive, full of heart, it's good to be positive. But we need to not necessarily walk firmly forward onto that positivity, because it may be subject to change itself. The ideas that we have, good, but not necessarily workable. It's as though this positivity is giving us a direction, a style of forward movement, without actually showing the precise ways in which we can do that. It seems to me that there will be many options being expressed without a clear sign of which one is going to work best. And maybe it doesn't matter. Now that Saturn is in Sagittarius, it seems to me that experimenting is the thing. But when you experiment with forward movement, it's something about testing the ground ahead with one foot, while you keep yourself, your main groundedness, within yourself. We need to be our own stability, so stabilize internally, so that experimentation doesn't bring about disasters or burnt bridges. We need to be able to step back as well as step forward. There's nothing wrong in realizing that something isn't going to work after you've tried it and pulling back out of it again. There is something very fine in listening to a person express their ideas when they say as well, I don't know how this will turn out. Somehow one can trust those people. The full moon chart of the 4th of May seems to bring in some confusion, so that lovely understanding, the reliability of our carefulness, seems to have shifted from the Mercury to the Sun. The Sun now makes the sextile to Neptune and the trine to Pluto. Sun in Taurus, solid and connected to nature. But our thinking and communication, Mercury, has moved into the position of being at right angles square to Neptune. So if we had been following along that positivity and jumping into things too far or too fast, we may find ourselves trying to support unsupportable positions. In both situations, the new moon and the full moon, Jupiter is squaring the Taurus. And of course in the full moon chart it also squares the moon up in Scorpio. As it has started to go forwards since the 8th of April, there is a growing sense of expansion becoming possible. So that square could be referring to the expansion that goes too far and then has to retreat. So a bit perhaps saying the same thing as the squares to Neptune. There's two ways one can deal with a square in astrology, it seems to me, especially a square to Jupiter. One is to vacillate between the two ends quickly, so that you don't go too far towards either extreme, and you are constantly making course corrections, as it were. So the two ends, the two kinds of behaviour don't get out of touch with each other. So that's one way, the vacillation. This is between positive expansion and pragmatism. But the other way to do it, which I think is the more masterful way, is to find that activity in your life which uses both ends, pragmatic in this case and positive, expansive at the same time, and to do that thing with both ends operating together. Often what happens when you can find that activity is that something quite new and very valuable grows out of it, something one wouldn't have dared to do normally. There is enormous power in squares, and bear in mind that nothing in a chart is negative. It's only the way we choose to do it that makes it negative, or doing it in an unconscious way. So the value of squares is the extra energy they bring, and the new and previously unthought of solutions that can rise with them when we dare to use that extra force. And speaking of force, in the new moon chart, with Mercury and Mars trining Pluto, and Pluto squaring the Uranus connection to Jupiter, we are liable to find ourselves going to extremes. So do watch for any signs of obsessive behaviour or speech in yourself. If you try to push too hard for what you feel is right or what you want, or if you find yourself stubbornly resisting something that's new or different, or having to let go of something that had been your sacred cow, when you find yourself getting stubborn, these things are signs that we're going too far in a direction and we need to adjust and recognise that what it is that we're opposed to has actually also got a very good standpoint. And from that position, there is more to be seen. So notice if you get gripped on to a view or an expression or an item, and release your hold a little, trying to see what the other side might be trying to say, trying to just get over to that other side and seeing what it looks like from there. An incredibly valuable exercise if you can catch yourself and actually do it. It's not easy. In the full moon chart, Saturn opposes Mercury, so there may be some anxiety about what we've started. And with anxiety, really it's just a call for caution. It's not meant to be fearful, and we're never meant to be held back by our fear, just brought in touch with those aspects of a situation which we may not have considered. And this is why I think it is a lovely thing that right through the month we have Mars in Taurus. So the energy itself is grounded. If we stay with the natural flow of our bodies and of Earth's energy, we'll probably be fine. Two of the delights of Aries: courage and the beginner's mind. Everyone is lovable. Beautiful being, brave and true, Rest within your sweet self for a moment, feeling your life flow as the life of the universe, flowers and trees and the very soil at your feet, stars adorning your hair and filling your mind. All creation is pulsing with power and life, and every cell of your body the same. Let joy and love leap into your eyes, your heart, and your hands. Stand tall and be blessed. Receive, take in, and give.